Welcome to Twycross Zoo!
The Zoo Licensing Act states that every zoo is required to have an inspection and the pre-inspection audit is used to complete this inspection.
In January of 2015, a study was carried out monitoring the effects of alien invasive species on the environment. It was observed that zoos are an influential pathway for the species. As can be seen in this clip, the fencing prevents escape and the trees are cut back to prevent jumping over the top.
Journals posted by the likes of Cassie in 2015 and Murphy in 2012 discuss the preventative methods and chances of species from the zoo getting out into our habitat in England and being an invasive species, and that's one of the main reasons, it's one of the sciences behind keeping the fences so high in these places. So as you can see, this is another type of another example of a barrier. This is for a category 1 species, it's a hyena. As you can see, it's got a tilted top to the fencing, that's to stop it climbing over, and it's also got concrete underground to stop it from digging under.
Zoonotic disease and risk of injury to zoo house animals is a consistent concern for zoos. The bird housing for the lorikeets and other species could potentially allow them to come into contact and share conditions with wild birds who may have harmful diseases. An attempt to prevent this interaction would improve the security of the enclosure.
So the Secretary of State Standard of Modern Zoo Practice maintains that for animals that could be a danger to the public, it's got to be more than an arm's reach away. Obviously the zebra could poke his mouth through there and give us a nasty bite. We don't want that.
We have one sign all across the entire enclosure of the zebras saying these animals may bite and please do not reach over or cross the barrier. Now that's one sign. If I went over there and didn't see that, I could easily just cross over and touch the zebra and still get close enough. There's only one sign telling us not to, so kids could easily do that as well.
Okay, so as far as the security is concerned, we've got reinforced glass here that protects both the public and the bonobos. We have got a sign telling us not to knock on the glass. But it is a maximum security really, this enclosure is. Okay, so animals do switch in between the two groups and it's called fission fusion, and here at Twycross Zoo they do that because it's naturally occurring within the wild.
Information on firearms is required by the pre-inspection audit. The firearms that a zoo will use include bolt guns, dart guns and shotguns. Those guns need to be certified with trained shooters. However, the location of the guns was not disclosed to us by Twycross, however they were close at hand. An animal collection at a zoo should be protected on a 24-hour basis using duty officers, alarms and possibly CCTV. Whilst at Twycross Zoo we didn't come across CCTV, alarms or duty officers. This could be an improvement.
Here we have a category 1 species, gorilla outdoor enclosure. As you can see, they aren't here at the moment due to the weather, but as you can see as well, for their barriers they have a dip going down to a moat-like area and also thick glass. The reason for this, due to them being category 1, they are very dangerous species, and in public and these gorillas do get in contact, there can be a lot of bruises and death. That's why they try to keep the animals separated as much as possible.
So in the event of a category 1 escape such as this gorilla, a zoo's main priorities would firstly be the public and making sure they're safe, and then it would be the zookeepers and staff themselves before the animals. So if that meant that they had to be shot, so be it.
Here at Twycross Zoo they have different types of species and different types of preventive security measures to keep the species inside their enclosures. But sometimes the public do come into their enclosures, as in for walkthroughs. Here at the lemur enclosure, this is one such area. Here they have a double door system which is done through electric. So if one door isn't closed, the other door to get into the enclosure will not open until that door is shut. This is to make sure that animals can't get in or out when the public are entering or leaving the enclosure. Unfortunately at Twycross Zoo, their double door system for the lemur enclosure is broken. I'm able to open this door and Emily is able to open the other door at the same time, as you can see here. So that is one improvement I would suggest to Twycross Zoo.
Twycross Zoo's animal collection is approved under the Ballard Directive. This means that Twycross Zoo and other zoos around the world can transfer animals freely without a quarantine.
The Secretary of State Standards in Modern Zoo Practice suggests that signs are visible to give warnings of any hazards or places where animals and humans come into contact. It is advised that zoos use symbols on their signs, as this will assist children or foreign visitors. Access to some areas of the zoo is restricted to the public to prevent them entering areas of unreasonable risk. This also ensures that tools and any other portable equipment is not left unattended, as they may cause harm to the public or to animals. Employers are required to provide staff with appropriate PPE and equipment used for work. Equipment must be safe for work and employees must be capable of carrying out any tasks given. As the trees on site must be maintained to prevent injury from falling branches, this may mean employing outside contractors who are fully trained in tree maintenance and working at height.
According to Managing Health and Safety in Zoos, slips and trips are the most common cause of accident in the workplace. This new path's been laid for £250,000 to help prevent that.
While walking around Twycross Zoo, we noticed that there are some uneven paths and some raised tree roots. We suggest that these issues are addressed in order to pass the pre-inspection audit.
Hand washing facilities should always have antibacterial soap, and you should have access to hot and cold water.
Where running water is unavailable, antibacterial gel is also effective for preventing disease.
Just come out of the lemur enclosure, there's potential contact with the animals in there, but there's no hand washing facilities anywhere around, so that could lead to zoonotic disease spread.
To prevent the spread of disease between animals in the zoo, foot baths are provided containing antibacterial soap.
According to the Secretary of State Standards in Modern Zoo Practice, any walk-through enclosure must have a risk assessment completed. Because these are category 3 animals, there are staff should be present to supervise the public with animals.
They call me Bird Boy.
So, zoos and aquariums have the power to educate 25 million people who visit collections in Biaza institutions. Inspiring young generations is really important because they are going to be the future zookeepers in this industry, and they are going to be education officers in the future of zoos. In the Secretary of State's Management Practice, Section 3.12, the Zoos Directive requires zoos to promote public education and awareness in relation to conservation of biodiversity, particularly by providing information about species exhibited in natural habitats.
Based within the Democratic Republic of Congo, we have a conservation welfare fund. So that means part of the entrance fee, some of the money that you've paid to come and visit us today, goes towards our conservation welfare fund. And that not only helps us look after animals here at the zoo, but helps us to look after animals in the wild. So one of those projects we support is Lolia Bonobo, which is based in the DRC. So that is a project that rescues and rehabilitates orphan bonobos.
So which degree did you do?
I did a degree in zoology at Derby University.
So what is your main role in the zoo?
I'm part of the education team, so I man the walk-through areas. So this area, the lemurs and the butterflies, and it's basically just to talk to the public, tell them about the creatures, and make sure both the creatures and the public are safe.
So how do you feel about the sign? It's a little small. And how do you feel about this sign?
It's a bit rubbish.
Smile for it, Emily.
What do you mean?
Well, you shouldn't imitate behaviours. Smiling is an aggressive behaviour. It could upset the bonobos.
But there isn't any sign. So according to LJ Miller et al. 2012, interaction programs are really valuable for visitors, and it can enhance their knowledge when it comes to species like these. Even in this area that's not actually in the zoo, there is still a lot of information about each species and all the endangered species, and how conservation is a massive part of the zoo. snow leopard enclosure is a wonderful experience that's outside of the zoo that people can still enjoy while they're eating. So the Secretary of State's Modern Zoo Practice states that in Section 7 that it is a legal requirement for the zoo to give information to visitors and be dedicated to educating their visitors. And this is the Discovery Centre. Biarza Zoos and aquariums all educate students within the national curriculum.
Twycross put these education requirements through by providing adult courses and also courses for children. So they do early years, Key Stage 1, 2 and 3, GCSE, Post 16, and even they provide education for special needs people. And they also, the Discovery team can come to your school or college.